She chastised me about cheersing.
But I didn't want to actually like pause and think
actual
class. It just felt like such a bougie, like we're women drinking wine. I don't know.
Whatever. I don't mind, but it's funny that you cheersed anyways.
I know, it's habit. Old bartender habit. Don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. When you cheers is what you do when you're greeting people.
I'm cheersing our 2 subscribers.
I hope you're drinking your favorite drink too, whatever that is.
Whether it be water or tea or wine or not wine. We're back.
We're back.
Paige, how was your week?
It's not been fantastic.
I have not seen you at all.
No. I had last weekend, I was the maid of honor in one of my best friend's weddings. And that was like, obviously being in a wedding is always just like pure go, go, go. Yeah. And then I came straight into a week of, this will mean nothing, but like I have a lot of meetings next week and I have to write assessments for those. And assessments take me about like 5 to 10 hours to write, depending on the assessment. I've just been writing constantly and testing kids constantly, and it's just been a very stressful week. It was also my birthday this week, and I celebrated by writing an assessment.
Happy birthday! Thank you. Don't worry, I made her a cake. She's gonna eat it tonight.
Yeah, we're celebrating tonight.
After this episode, after we work.
Yeah. This is fun.
I'm making you dinner
I suggested this.
And dessert, and we're having nice wine.
We were supposed to go to a concert, and I said, no. I want to drink wine in a home and talk about books.
The people that we were
Balu Brigada.
We were going to go see them, but instead we are filming our Halloween episodes. This is in honor of all the spirits. Well, I don't want to honor spirits. Mean spirits. I mean dead people.
Okay. I don't really want to do that either. But...
I think about death. You don't know this. Now I'm telling you, Paige knows this. I think about death a lot. And I was thinking about death today and non-existence. So perfect timing. I'm wearing my Grim Reaper dress. You can't see the whole thing.
How about this is in honor of the ether. What comes after.
Okay.
Whether it's nothing.
Or everything.
Or everything. Or everything in between.
Yeah.
Or starting all over again. Whatever it is.
We're off to a great start.
Halloween makes us get weird.
So I was excited to talk about what I've been reading this week because
go for it.
I have actually been reading a lot because I was sick for half the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I mean, you don't need to know the details of my sickness, but it was such that I couldn't really do anything, but I wasn't just sleeping. So I was listening to audiobooks and reading. So I listened to, I did the thing where I didn't write down the name so I remember it, but Sangu Mandanna, her new book.
Oh yeah.
The Witch's Guide to Magical
Something
Innkeeping.
Like, oh yeah, that is what I think
right?
it is. Yeah.
I think I did it right.
I think you did it right.
We'll
put Brenda will put a picture of it somewhere, and then we'll know if we were right or not.
So I'd read the first book, and I'm not normally into like cozy romantasy. I don't even know. That's not really
like a cozy fantasy with like a romance.
A cozy romance. Yeah, I'm not normally into that, but I had actually really enjoyed her first book.
Mm-hmm.
And when the second book came out, I wasn't in the mood. And then I was sick this week, and I was like, this is the medicine. So that's what I listened to, and I enjoyed it. It was warm. It was lovely. The narrator is so soothing.
Mm-hmm.
So recommend that. And then I started listening to a very different book, Colored Television, which I'm still listening to. So can't tell you all about it, but I will say I highly recommend it. It is like watching a train wreck. A lot of like, oh, she's in trouble.
Yeah.
And oh, I hate this.
Which are fun books.
Which are fun books. But
it's like, I'm a fan. You're just watching this person fall apart.
That's
and
true.
You're like, oh, okay.
But it's also like, as a writer, it's about a writer who is like, I was telling Paige, I hate reading books about writers because they're so depressing. If it's a fiction book about a writer, it's all about like the angst and the frustration and the loneliness and the hopelessness. How tough we have to be, and it's not fun to read for me. I mean, I actually am really enjoying reading this book, but it definitely makes me kind of go, I cannot let my life become this.
Yeah.
So reading that, and then I'm reading a lot right now. I'm also reading Beautyland, which I think it came out this year or last year, and I love it. It reminds me a little bit of that book that we both read about the alien. Aliens, life hacks for little aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, you'll love this.
Yeah.
So this is a longer, and the premise is this person from their birth to their, I assume, death. I'm not done yet. they're born and they're told, they're activated at a certain age and they're told they're an alien and they have to report back facts about human life. And they're going through the different developmental stages. And honestly, it's very beautiful, in that just how weird she finds human interactions.
So she actually is an alien in this one.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's like a metaphor for
something
else yet. I haven't gotten to the end. But it does kind of make you appreciate life and how weird it is, the things we do. And I think all of us at some time or another feel a little alien in social situations, especially. And it just made me feel a little less strange.
Another good book along those lines, it's not like life hacks, and I obviously haven't read Beautyland, but it sounds familiar. Someday. Earthlings is another book that is kind of like,
that's the one with the hedgehog or the porcupine on the front.
Yeah. It's a really, it's short, and it was another one where like it's people thinking they're aliens. And kind of like, what does that mean? But the life hacks one was the little girl had autism and she's the narrator. And she thinks she's an alien, and it is really, really good.
It's very good. And this one I am not sure, but I also think she really is.
That's what makes it fun. The Earthlings one too. I was like, I actually don't know if they're aliens or not. I actually am starting to think, are you going to be beamed up? So I think that's what makes it fun, is like, because all of it's like, well, you could be human and just be having these interactions.
Yeah, and just really believe it. Which also just gives me, again, this is why we read, it gives me a lot of empathy towards people who say things that I'm like, how could you possibly believe that? We all have this different way of living and receiving information.
Our brain processes information differently based on our own experiences. Not to get super school psyche, but I have been writing assessments all week.
So let me tell you about...
Let me explain exactly what's going on in the brain and why people do those things. Never mind.
Have you been reading this week at all?
I did, yeah. I've been reading... Actually, no, I guess I've been listening to 2 books and reading a little bit, but listening a little bit more. But I've been listening to Buffalo Hunter, and that's a vampire story. It's a Native American vampire thing, and I do like... it took me a little bit to get into. I'm probably like maybe almost 50% through, and now I'm definitely...
book. That's pretty good for the week you've had.
Yeah, now I'm into it, and it definitely, I like... there's some parts of the vampire trope that he's like following, and then he's adding some bits that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting take. And I like vampire books that use becoming a vampire, whether it was on purpose or not, to gain control over a situation again. And how that can change, like someone who maybe had no power, and now all of a sudden you're this supernatural being, and what do you do with that power?
I feel like I need you to, because I don't naturally go towards vampire stories.
So I don't like all of them, that's for sure.
Right, but I feel like I should... one of the page challenges Brenda to read out of her comfort zone is, I feel like you should have me read a vampire story that I could maybe handle.
Hungerstone would be the one to
start with. I am going to read that. Did you lend it to me yet?
I took it back from you, but I'll give it back to you.
Thank you. That's
the easiest
passive-aggressive reminder.
That one's very good. And I'll let you know how I feel about Buffalo Hunter. And then halfway through the week, like that's what I'd been listening to in the morning when I get ready, when my brain is fresh. And also I don't want to listen to creepy things right before I go to bed.
My brain is not fresh in the morning. We are very different in that way.
So in the evening, I've been listening to, as I go to sleep, I started Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, I believe is what it's by. Oh, and the other one is by Stephen something.
We'll put it up on the screen. Don't worry. We have terrible memories.
Yeah. Anyways, I just started Wild Reverence probably like 2 days ago. And just last night was when I was like, first of all, I started listening because the narrator's voice is very soothing. I was like, I could go to sleep with this. And as soon as I listened, my brain was like, So probably a little bit like that witch book that you just read. It was just like very easy.
It's like a warm blanket.
It's like, okay. And then it's kind of based what I know now, right now. And I've heard good reviews, and maybe you've seen them, but it's kind of like, it's based on some other story that she wrote that I didn't read. But you don't need to read it, I don't think. But it's like gods and humans and things like that. And there's like, it's a little bit Greeky.
Wait, which author?
Rebecca Ross. She wrote Divine Rivals.
Yeah, I actually haven't read her.
It's a prequel to Divine Rivals, which I didn't read, and I tried her River Enchanted, and at the time I couldn't do it.
Try that one. I can't talk.
At the time I couldn't do that.
Yeah, wrong season.
We'll see how this goes. Yeah. It definitely is like there's a bit of a plot, and I feel like it'll get somewhere. It's not super plot heavy though. Let's do a thing.
The Magical Bowl. We've never named this officially yet.
Yeah, well, let's do the Magical Bowl.
The Magical Bowl
this month.
Book Wonders.
Book Wonders.
It's your turn to
wonder
pick.
Questions.
What's the rule this time? Do you pick one and that's it? Do we both answer?
Well, yeah, I'll pick one. We both answer.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Please don't let it be a repeat. If it's a repeat, redo it.
Oh yeah, obviously. Last book that made you cry. Oh, that's easy for me because I'm hormonal. That's Cassandra Clare. Like,
really? Which one? What scene?
Any and all. Okay, you know what? Actually, yeah. I do have a specific scene that came to mind, but honestly, it could have been any of them.
You can put it back in the bowl.
It'll a spoiler alert.
Oh, my back.
For the Dark Artifices in the second one. This is important content.
We're talking about crying over books. Go ahead.
In the second book, Lord of Shadows, at the very end, and if you've read it,
did you already say spoiler alert?
I said spoiler alert
as
you were.
It's Friday.
As you were complaining about your body. His sister dies. The main character's sister dies, and the whole point of the book is that he does anything for his family.
Oh gosh!
And the story before, he had to kill his dad for other reasons, blah blah blah. He's had a rough life, and then his sister dies, and he's holding her, and being like, come back, please come back, Lily. And Livy, her name's Livy, not Lily. I really read this book. Anyways, it got me good, and I cried and cried and cried.
Nice.
It felt nice.
Because of my short-term memory loss, which is the thing I pretend I have, I can't think of the most recent one, but the thing that I just remembered is
I just have to clarify it would be long-term memory loss. Short-term memory is just like a few seconds.
Thank you.
Anything longer.
Thank you, Paige. Okay. Because of that, you're going to have to correct me like 100 times in the future, just so you know. Okay, doesn't matter. Tangent. Since I can't remember the most recent, the thing that came to my mind was this image of me as a child crying over a book. So I'm going to share that
let's
with
do
you.
That. Yeah, that's whatever the prompt brings forward in your mind, let's let it fly.
So when I was very little, I want to say like 9, 10. Very little.
many moons ago.
So I grew up in a very conservative household, and so we weren't like allowed to watch like very like R-rated movies, even PG-13 sometimes. So like I was very much unexposed to a lot of raw things in life, right? And I was reading Brian Jakes. You know who you are, fans out there. She doesn't.
I don't. Yeah, I'm
but
not
you grew up with dyslexia, so you didn't. That was an assumption. I am so sorry.
No,
I just assume you don't read.
Oh, because I had dyslexia. Yeah. No, I did. I mean, I told you I had like Edgar Brown Post phase, but I did read. I just didn't probably read as much as you did.
Okay. Anyway, I loved Brian Jakes, but the first time I read his book, I read Martin the Warrior, the original.
Never heard of any of this.
And this world is all about mice and otters and badgers who are warriors in medieval times.
That's fun. That's a good time.
And that's a good time. Remember,
what is the book called so I can recommend it to kids?
Martin the Warrior.
Martin the Warrior.
But you should probably read it first.
Okay.
Because it's true. No, it's not. I need to reread it because now I'm curious what I'm talking about as an adult. Okay. Anyway, I just remember it's always like there's always battles. It's very Lord of the Rings, but mice and rats.
That's amazing.
And
I love that.
I remember being a 9-year-old sitting in my chair and feeling, one, shame because it was so violent. And two, one of the mice I loved had just died in battle, and I didn't know how I was going to keep being a human without this fake mouse in my life anymore. And that's what came to my mind. So there you go, Martin the Warrior. Cheers.
That's cute.
Brian Jakes. I hope that's how you say your last name. I've been saying it that way for my age-long years.
Your whole life. Hilarious. That sounds like a fun book series.
I've been wanting to reread it.
I would have liked it, but I have no idea what that is. So.
Yeah. So should we talk about our main topic for the day?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Ooh, that's my haunted house sound. Oh, that's ghosts. What haunted houses?
Yeah, it's haunted sounds.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. So we read We've Always Lived in the Castle. Do, 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 do. And Model
Twilight
Home.
Zone. That's going to be our.
Do, 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 do. This was like full
We read more than
disclosure. She read more than that. I did not. Full disclosure, this was probably not the best time in my life to be reading stories that my brain was like, I'm not super interested in this right now. But I did finish it. I did finish them. I did like them. But I don't know if I'll have a whole lot to say about them in the sense of like it wasn't making my brain spark, I think, as much as it made your brain spark.
Oh man, I was taking notes.
I am very interested to hear your thoughts and kind of like see. I wonder how it'll make the stories connect for me more. Sometimes like I'll read a book and I'll be like, I don't know how I feel about that book. I liked both of them.
That's how 100%. I actually feel about this book, but that made me think, oh, this is a book you should read. Because when you end a book and you don't know how you feel about it, that means you're really thinking.
Well, I said I don't know how I feel about it, and then my brain was like, move on.
I sit with it. I was like writing notes. I was at, because I like to, once a week I take myself out on a solo date and I read at a bar, and I was like writing down things from the book and like getting excited.
I guess we didn't discuss this before, but is this going to be a spoiler? I feel like it should be a spoiler discussion to be able to really talk about the book, specifically Model Home. I think that's necessary.
Yeah.
No, so like spoiler warning. If you haven't read these books, you should probably do that and come back and listen to our discussion.
Yeah, and I will say, even though we're theming this around like, so Halloween edition, haunted house is what we're going for. When we started thinking about reading, the assignment we gave ourselves was to read horror this month.
Mm-hmm.
And
I went vampire.
And she went vampire.
Yeah.
Which, we can talk about. I don't love horror. It's not a genre that I enjoy. And so I read a ton of books trying to find books I enjoyed. Like. And some of those don't fit in the haunted house.
What did you discover that you enjoyed? Just
The Starving Saints. It's behind you.
Oh yeah, I do want to see that. I see that.
I'm not.
I want to see it. I don't want to read it.
No, I don't want to see that. I do suggest reading it.
No, I want to read that.
I won't do any spoilers about that, other than that was a horror book that I could get behind, as far as like, I can't take too much gore, and then a lot of horror books do play with metaphors of trauma, which is quite triggering depending on your life experiences. And for me, it's hard for me to read those books.
I have been curious, sorry to cut you off, but speaking of that, because I also, horror's not really a genre that I read all that much. But the ones that I've read, which hasn't been that many, I'm like, I'm not really horrified during them.
There was one book I read during this approach.
Oh, you got horrified.
And it's a brilliantly written book in translation. So like, it's called The Unworthy. It came out, I believe, or the translation came out this year. It's a Brazilian author. There's some scenes in it of like human torture that I could not. When I read a violent scene, like, I feel pain. And I could not stop thinking about this scene. And I was like, I couldn't get out of my head, so I made Paige just read the scene, and she reads it to the end and goes, wait, what?
Was it this part?
Did I get there? I'm gonna talk about that.
Anyways,
but that's why horror is hard for me.
I see.
But the books we fell upon that we're both like, oh yeah, these ones we enjoyed, were around haunted houses. And the thing I noticed is that in a lot of books, more recent books where you see the haunted house theme, it's tackling themes of trauma or using it as a metaphor for colonization. Think Mexican Gothic.
That's very on the
great nose. Example.
Yeah,
fun, wonderful read, but so many more layers around. Yeah, I mean,
what they're saying.
You'll see. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about.
Let me ask you, do you think We've Always Lived in the Castle is about trauma? Because I don't think
No. Okay. In fact, this book doesn't really fit the theme, which is why I wasn't sure about including it. I just like this book.
Okay. Fair enough.
So we're going to talk about this one. This is Shirley Jackson's We've Always Lived in the Castle. The book that her first, like, really specifically haunted house book was Haunting of Hill House, which came out in, let's see if I can read my handwriting, 1959. Also a great read. I loved both this and that one. What did you think of this book? So you just read it for the first time.
Yeah, I I was trying to remember. What was the cousin's name? It's fine.
The
Cousin something.
guy, the creepy guy?
Yes, the cousin that is like an asshole to the main character, but like super creepy and weird towards the attractive older sister.
Yes.
She wrote him so well, I hated him immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately was like that. I hate him. I had no fucking clue what was going on in this book. At the end of the book, I was like, because I was like, oh, are they supposed to be ghosts haunting this house? And then I was like, but I truly don't know, because like
I don't know.
I don't know. Like that scene where the cousin comes back after the fire. Well, first of all, I knew the whole time the little girl killed the family. I was like, obviously, it was
spoiler. We did spoilers. We gave a spoiler already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we don't have to say it all the time. Spoiler.
I get really worried about ruining this book for you.
But the whole time I knew. Actually, that's the theme with both of these. I knew the thing immediately.
Oh, you did with both of them?
Yes, I was like, obviously, that's what's happening.
I mean, this one. We'll get to the other one in a second.
Anyways, I knew she was the one that killed everyone, not the older sister. I never suspected the older sister.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck the point of this book was or what was going on.
Entertainment.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
I mean,
I felt like I was like,
I
must be dumb, because I felt like there was supposed to be, maybe I was overthinking it, and I thought there was supposed to be some sort of mystery.
I mean, yeah, but you figured it out early.
Oh, okay.
But I think also
it's just, I'm a genius.
Sure. yes, Paige. It's your birthday. You're a genius. I'm a good friend.
Don't ever say that to me again.
You're a genius.
You're great.
Nothing more condescending. I don't know, for me, so I read this a while ago and I did not reread it for this episode. Now I want to. I just remember loving the character development and the sense of foreboding, and like you do know that there's something wrong with them.
Oh yes.
It's not meant to be a
weird
secret,
family,
but it builds up this like, what's gonna happen? Where's this going?
The outsiders, which are just like people that walk near the house.
Yeah, just humans.
And I love that Maricat buries everything. And the cousin's losing his shit because she's burying like very expensive things. I should stop swearing. But anywho, I just love that Maricat is. And then he brings it up to Constance, and she's like, yeah, she just likes to do stuff like that. And she's like,
it's normal.
And he's like, this is worth thousands of dollars. And he's freaking out because he's money hungry, and he's such a terrible person.
He wants the house.
He is so well written. I hated him so much. Immediately, I was like, I hate this man.
And this is there it is. I wanted to read this. Let me read to you, friends. I feel like, so this is not really a haunted house. We totally lied about our theme.
Okay. Maybe that's confused me, because I thought I was looking for a haunted house.
No, The Haunting of Hill House is a haunted house.
Oh,
this is more about a house that is haunted by the living people
who don't want to leave it,
which
and
is
have
actually
issues.
True about this one. Okay, we'll come back to that.
They did want to leave that house. Okay.
Sorry, that was the worst thing I've ever done to someone.
No more.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, just the creepiness level in this book, especially knowing it was written in 1959.
Is that when? I thought it was the 60s. I thought it was 67.
Well, 59 is very close.
That's almost 10 years away, but.
Okay, this is 1962. I don't know where I got. Oh, that's Haunting. Sorry, Haunting of Hill House was 59.
Okay, so a couple of years later.
3 years later.
Well, I do want to read The Haunting of Hill House now.
Also very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the creepiness. Like, there's like we all love children rhymes and creepy movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this line that's like, "Maricat," said Connie, "would you like a cup of tea?" "Oh no," said Maricat, "you'll poison me." Mm-hmm. "Maricat," said Connie, "would you like to go to sleep? Down to the boneyard 10 feet deep?"
Yes. Yeah, they do that. Actually, I think, don't they make that
because they are children
or something like that?
The kids taunt them with it because
I thought Constance was an adult.
No,
or a young adult,
maybe
like
a
19
young adult. Maybe a teenager, but not like not like an adult.
Well, no, I thought she was like 19.
15?
Really? That's not how she reads.
That's how I read what they were trying to make her, but maybe not.
I don't know. She was cooking and baking a lot for a 15-year-old.
Some people cook and bake a lot at 15. You
All right.
gotta help out in the household.
Either way, I did think it was good. I thought that there was supposed to be some overreaching message, and I was like, oh, I feel dumb because I didn't get it. But I guess there wasn't.
I think it was. I mean, tell us if
feel
you
better
disagree. Now. If you read this and you're like, no, this is a metaphor. This is an allegory. But I think this is just generally a good old, just a good spooky tale.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect.
But speaking of houses that are haunted by people who live in them,
no.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we're gonna argue. We're gonna discuss this because I don't feel the same way at all.
Okay, I want to intro this book though because I love River Solomon. So River Solomon wrote this book, and River Solomon, the other two books they've written are fantasy. This is their first horror novel.
Oh, interesting.
And so I know them through fantasy. Sorrowland, and I think they wrote An Unkindness of Ghosts. Yeah.
That's not a haunted movie book.
An Unkindness of Ghosts. No.
Okay.
Not at all. Anyway, so I was very excited when I saw they'd written a new book, and I was like, oh, it's horror, not my area, but let's try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my introduction to horror books.
Oh, that was really good.
Thank you.
I must introduce this because I love this person and his books. The end.
Their books. Yeah. The book is about
yes, what is this book about? In fact, I would love to hear your synopsis.
Three Maxwell siblings. Let's just read from the cover. The three Maxwell siblings. So basically, it's these adults who lived in a house that was haunted. And they thought, and they've been traumatized by it. And their parents have died, and they're coming back for the funeral.
Yeah, how the story starts.
Okay.
Is
she'll tell you.
Because doesn't the main character, they come into the house and discover their parents dead. They're coming back for a visit.
Oh, you're right. The parents aren't doing well, and they come back.
Yeah.
You're right.
And they find them dead, and they're concerned because they're like, this is a haunted house. The house killed them.
Yeah.
And then the siblings are having a disagreement amongst themselves of like, do we tell the police? What do we tell the police? Are they going to even believe us?
Yeah. We have to like change what happened because they'll think we killed them. They won't believe the house killed them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's sort of like the beginning of it all,
and then inciting incident,
and then from there you start to learn the history of the main character, and their siblings, and it slowly gets unveiled sort of what was actually going on in this house. And I do like the themes of this book. You're constantly being told about mother, which is different than mom, than their mother. But their mother is a woman who is a little bit difficult and strict, and has certain expectations of her children. I do think that she has some, not even expectations of her children, but like she's a woman who isn't going to let people push her around.
Yeah.
Even if it means making her children's life more difficult in order to have a stand.
I'm just having an epiphany, which I already knew about myself, which is I should never have children.
Because that would be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a true story.
It is a true story.
I don't know if you would put it on your children, but I do think that you would accidentally make your children's life more difficult.
Which is why
because of your beliefs. And that is this mother.
Yeah.
And then there's mother, or the woman without a face, that is throughout the book.
Oh, yeah. So let me read you. We're reading from the book today. This is story time at the fireplace for Halloween.
Okay, we don't have a fireplace, but we do have candles.
We have our candles.
Well
fireplace.
Done.
I just am going to read you the first like 2 sentences because it's such a great start. Maybe mother is God, and that's why nothing I do pleases her. Maybe my mother is God, and that's why even though she's never once saved me, I keep praying that this time she will.
Oh, actually, now knowing how it ends, it's like, oh, okay. That's why she said that.
Mm-hmm. So the main character, it talks about all the siblings, but it's the one sibling that you follow the story through, and her daughter. Mm-hmm. And she refers to mother and then like ghost mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're always trying to figure out who the ghost mother is.
And the woman without a face. She has several names for these. Also, this person has dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known
that's true.
as multiple personalities, but it has a new designation now. which actually for me was hard. I listened to the book,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the names are names that sound very similar. And since I didn't read it, I didn't have the visual memory of the different names. So I often had times where I was like, wait, who is this? Who is this? Who is this?
Yeah.
And sometimes I was like, is this a personality, or is this a sibling, or is this the daughter? I did, and that was hard for me to track listening. So I think I think it probably is a book that's better to be read.
Yeah.
In order to track what's going on, maybe specifically if you have dyslexia, because I needed that visual.
I think that's fair.
That visual memory of who was who, because I was really having a hard time tracking the characters, and I often had to. I always figured it out, but I would have many moments where I had to be like, "Wait, who is this? And is this a personality?"
Night Mother, Ghost Mother, all the different names.
Yeah, Mother was a very large theme in this book.
And I think the other thing, as you're like setting the landscape, is the home they moved into is in an affluent white neighborhood where they are the only black family.
And that's a huge part. And then she has very weird interactions
with neighbors
when she comes back, and she's kind of like that she hasn't had previously.
Yeah.
And she's like, one specifically that stood out to me was like with a man. And he's first very polite, and then all of a sudden she's like, I think this man's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Smart.
No, there's so much going on in this book. Racial trauma, physical violence trauma. There's so much, which like, this is why when I finished the book, I was like, okay, there's a lot going on, and some of the scenes are a little triggering for certain things. So if you have any kind of sexual abuse history, maybe don't read this one.
Yeah.
Maybe just listen to our podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's just such a good exploration, and the writing. This is where I was nerded out. The writing is beautiful. So even though the story was like a little bit physically hurting me, I couldn't stop because the writing was so good, and Rivers kept saying these sentences that just were ringing in my head. And that's who they are as a writer. Go read their books. So So
now we'll move into spoiler territory.
Oh yeah, I'm so curious. Yeah, I did not expect that.
Yeah, so the whole time I was like, oh, this person's been sexually molested by someone, by an adult in their life.
I really believed the house was haunted.
The dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, well, psychologist, writer. I'm like, yeah, I'll jump along this creativity.
Woman without a face. What
does that mean?
Well, anytime she described the woman without a face, it was like, my memories have become foggy. I can't quite remember what was happening.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, oh, you're being abused.
Yeah.
Who that person was, I never suspected it was her actual mother. I didn't think that.
It wasn't.
No, I know.
Oh. Just in case.
I did not suspect who it was.
No.
I do, but also because maybe I'm wrong. I didn't feel like this character was really even in the story, but I remember she really liked the character when they're first introduced, which is like a white neighbor. And when they're first introduced, the mom immediately dislikes her, but the main character,
it's like, she's giving me cookies.
Likes her a lot.
Yeah.
That's when you find out that the neighbors have been harassing the parents the whole time.
Yeah.
And because they're like, they don't belong here. They shouldn't be here. And then the woman who's been molesting the main character the whole time is like, but I've always loved you. And then you find out like, there's certain things that happen throughout the book that it's like, you did this, like you find out like, oh, she put this sibling in the dryer, and you're like, why would they do that? Or you put this sibling, you put acid on this sibling.
Oh yeah, there's so much weird,
and you're like, why are you doing those things? Yeah. And those are the things that also I was like, oh, you have been abused, and now you're acting out because of trauma. But it turns out she put the one sibling in the dryer because
she was trying
to save her. And then the other one was because the white lady told her to harm. Yeah. And she did. And it's like this white lady was sort of like the galvanizing person to try to hurt this family and get them out of there. And then she's like, oh no, but I always loved you. And it's like, oh my God, I hate you. And then the worst part is that the same thing happens to her daughter, and it makes me so sad. And the whole time I was like, no.
It's so brutal. You're watching her daughter be groomed, and the mother is going through so much trauma. She's not aware.
Yeah.
So it's a brutal book.
It's also talking about the cycle
Yeah.
How the cycle continues, and like at the end, also unfortunately, this person has dissociative identity disorder, and there's different mothers for that child as well.
Oh yeah.
And she talks about that mother. It's like, this is the nice mother,
yeah.
one that cares, the one that's aware.
Oh, man,
And she's, but after it happens, after the child is then molested, she like,
gets away though.
No.
Oh, I thought she got away.
No, she called an aunt to come get her. They didn't come get her in time. Oh. And then the nice mother comes and picks her up. And you can tell that she's like, yeah, the nice mother's here, but I'm gonna have to deal with this on my own. And that's probably very similar to what this person felt with their own mother.
I'm so curious, like, when I think about horror, because this is horrific. This book is beautifully written and horrific, kind of like Lolita.
Oh yeah, that's like, true.
Horrific story, terrible, but the writing is so beautiful. You're compelled to keep reading.
True. Yeah, it's a hard story to hear. It's sure.
hard, but when I finished
definitely triggers throughout. I could handle it, but
it was a little rough for me. Yeah, but at the end, because I was so not expecting the reveal, it made me want to go back to the beginning and figure out where I had missed it. But I guess what I wanted to say is, like, I'm curious about horror as a metaphor for trauma. Of like, I struggle with reading horror because it feels too traumatic. But I know some people who have gone through trauma,
and that helps them process.
Yeah. Do you know much about why that is? I'm putting you on the spot here. No, we didn't prepare for this.
I always, literally always talk about this one research that I read. It's like one research article that I read one time, and I'm like, it's fact. Who knows? Maybe they've come out with other research, because it was, at this point, it was a really long time ago. But there is research to suggest that, and this was more specifically, I'm generalizing. The research I read was very specific about people who work in service industries, like doctors, nurses, teachers, who are experiencing vicarious trauma. So that's like, you're working with someone who has experienced trauma and you're supporting them through it. Yeah. That can be traumatic for you as well, or has an impact on you. Yeah. Arts can help you process that. So like, you might gravitate towards books, movies, whatever, of a character or something that is experiencing a similar thing, of maybe like people that you're working with, and it has that disconnect so that your brain can process it. And I would assume that that's a similar thing, of like, art can help you process your own trauma, but it's not yours. So you're watching someone else go through something that you've been through,
and it's helping you work
and it just helps your brain process those feelings in a different way than, because it's not actually you. Yeah. And it kind of releases some of it. I mean, I'm not suggesting only consume arts if you've experienced trauma. No, if you need therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah, both. You might need both.
Yeah, therapy, and it might not work for you. Like, you might become triggered, and then all of a sudden you're having an episode where you were experiencing the trauma that you have. For me personally, the reason why I resonated with that research is because that's me. Yeah, is it really helps me.
You always say when you're not feeling good, you watch horrific.
Yeah, to consume art that helps me process. And I remember I was working with like a young kid once that was constantly experiencing trauma. And I read Where the Crawdads Sing, I think is what it was called.
I read that one. But yeah, that is what it's called.
What was happening to her was like so exactly what was happening to the kid that I was working with, and I just like cried throughout the whole book. And for me, that book was very helpful in that I was able to release these emotions that I was feeling towards what was happening with this kid in his life, but that I couldn't, like, in order to be able to help him, I can't be like breaking down and crying about the things he's telling me, but like I was able to fully break down reading this book, because it was like, this is similar to what's happening to this kid, but it's not exactly. Yeah. But it did help me process sort of like what was going on, and release some of that vicarious trauma that was like circling through me. So like, I do have times where like, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what my brain needs to like release what I have been taking on with kids I've been working with.
So there's this, like, to close off model home discussion before I reference a few other books, and on that topic, there's this part at the end. So throughout the book, the character is in therapy, the main character.
Oh yeah, true.
And so you go through chapters that are conversations with her and her therapist.
Yeah, I think it ends with a talk with the therapist, and of like, how can you support your daughter through her journey,
and
as well as like, now that, because what happens to her becomes public because her sister videoed it.
Oh, right.
Lived it, not videoed it, but it was like on a live for it, because they had just or maybe it was the brother. One of the siblings had just gone on a talk show to be like, my parents were killed by someone, or maybe she said it was the house.
The house.
Yeah. She went nuts. And this was the sibling that the main character had put acid on. And then during the final confrontation, the sister, the main character, is like, do you remember when I put acid on you? Like, that was me. I wasn't being haunted. I did that. And she's like, I know. And they have all these like, and like, I remember when I put you in the dryer with the other sibling, and the sibling's like, yes, you were trying to help me.
I'm so curious what Rivers thinks about like what went into writing this book. I can't imagine how difficult.
Oh yeah, that's the part that I don't understand. Like, I would be curious to see research, which no one would do because it would be so niche, but of like artists. How does it, like, artists who write books like this,
it's supposed to be,
how does this help you? It feels like that
my
like
therapist tells me it would be cathartic if I wrote about
living in these worlds. It feels like living in these characters, feels traumatizing.
But the thing I wanted to pull about the end is, after they've gone through all this, she's recognized that the haunted house, it was the neighbor, this person who was molesting her and tormenting her family. And then her daughter was groomed. All this comes out, and then she's in a therapy session. Was that a specific page you wanted?
No, that was the page you wanted.
Oh, I didn't find it.
So okay. And I was like, it moved, and I was like, oh, I don't want her to have to search. I couldn't find it.
I was trying to find the quote, but I'll just describe it. There's this line where the main character is just talking about all this shit, and like, I just want to move. I just want to, like, why can't I have a do life and blah, blah, blah. And the therapist gives this very therapy exercise to her.
Oh, it was good. Yeah.
This, like, it stuck with me.
Me too. Yeah.
She goes, what if the life you are living, because even though all this happened to the main character has gotten the money, she hasn't been able to like provide a home for her daughter and any kind of stability, and she's gotten the money to do that, and a community now at the end. And it's scraping by, but it's still like something. And the therapist goes, what if the life you were living right now with your daughter and this ability to have this home was somebody else's wildest dream? And at first I read it and I'm like, slap in the face, like, the person is going through trauma, let them be. But then I started thinking about that in my own life, and that sat with me for a week of just whatever imperfections are in my life, if I change my perspective and bring that intention to it, it doesn't erase the trauma.
No,
I'm not talking about erasing trauma. It just was such a perspective change for me. And that was one of the lines that just really stuck with me.
This is on topic, but not about the book. I was reading some research today from like this researcher from Yale. She studies like happiness and joy and whatever. And
whatever, we don't know those emotions.
The bit that stuck with me was she said that mindfulness is helpful, and like being grateful, having gratitude is helpful, but actually that sometimes can be a hindrance to happiness, because you're thinking, oh, I should be more grateful. And it's a better idea and people tend to be more happier. Like, research is showing that happiness is more like, because happiness is something that comes and goes, whereas joy is more of like a state of being. But like, you will live a happier life if you notice moments of joy throughout your day, instead of being like, oh, I'm grateful that I have a house over my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, I am grateful of that, but I'm also really upset that X, Y, and Z is happening to me.
Yeah.
And it is overtaking my gratefulness for my house. Whereas it leads to more happiness if you pause and you notice when you're, so actually it's probably more mindfulness of like noticing, I'm having a joyful moment at this time, as well as happiness is your brain will like tend to hold on to the moments that happened at the end or the moments that were biggest. So like any day can be turned around if you can try to find a way to fit in a moment of like something that brings you happiness or joy. So like you could have had a really bad day, and instead of like going home and crying about it, or you could do that too.
Do that too. It's cathartic.
Like go home and have a cry, but then maybe also be like, oh, I'm going to call my friend and have a laugh now, or I'm going to go do XYZ that I know makes me happy, because that's the thing that your brain's going to remember.
Little bits of joy.
Yeah.
Little bits of joy.
Anyways, so yeah, like we can leave on a hopeful note.
And I guess like, so this was, I had read in our like our hunt for haunting. You hate that. I read a bunch of horror books. So I read The Unworthy, I read The Starving Saints, I read this, and then I started reading a few that I just could not do because too graphic, grotesque for me. But this one got me thinking about books that use, because this is supposedly a haunted house story, but it's really not a haunted house. It is about trauma, and uses that as a vehicle to talk about trauma. And it got me thinking about other books that do that. So earlier we referenced Mexican Gothic, which is a haunted house story on the surface, but is really about colonization. And then I wanted to pull a few YA books. So if you like YA or want to dip into it and are curious about this theme, She is a Haunting. This is an American Vietnamese young woman who goes back to Vietnam to see her dad for a summer, and he's fixing up this inn that used to be owned by French colonizers. Haunted house. All about colonization. And then White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. Also, just a shout out because I love.
It has quite a glare on it.
Sorry.
So maybe okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I won't. I will
maybe put a thing up.
Yeah, but Tiffany Jackson, all her books, she writes these gritty YA books that like handle really traumatic events. And she's lately, I just noticed there's like a sticker on this.
I saw it, and I kind of like it. Hold on, I have to
This is a library book
because I noticed it. It's such a kid did this.
A little
I've seen those stickers
popsicle
before.
Sticker.
I like it.
Anyway, another haunted house that's really talking about racial themes, and really worth the read. So
yeah,
just interesting to see how like the haunted house story, when I was doing my research, goes back to Pliny the Younger, not the Elder.
What?
Sorry, this was a big transition.
Didn't track that.
I
just said words that I was like, am I supposed to understand that?
I started seeing this theme of haunted house stories that are really a vehicle for trauma or metaphor, right? And so then I started reading about the history of haunted house stories, and I wanted to know where it came from. And it dates back to before we can remember, or there is a written account. And you have Pliny the Younger writing stories about.
Is that a writer? Pliny the Younger?
He's a person. He's a human.
Okay. No, he's just a writer.
This is like back in Roman times.
I've never heard of this.
And he writes a story about a haunted house, and then you have like 1001 Nights.
What was his story?
They didn't give me the name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
It's just recorded somewhere, but I didn't get the name in my research.
So it dates back to the Roman Empire.
If you would like a critical paper on this, I'm happy to write it.
I'm currently asking more questions.
Yeah.
So it dates back to the Roman Empire.
To do my research. Before then, but not just the Roman Empire, but like in the Middle East, 1001 Nights, that book, there is a story where a house is haunted by a jinn. Oh. So like this theme goes back. And those stories weren't necessarily about trauma, but you get that spirit haunting. And then the book that really broke it open as a genre, and I say this, but really in the Western world, I need to like quotation mark that, is The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And that's, I'm looking at my notes, 1839.
Can you do a quick synopsis of that book? Because like, I feel like I probably have read it, but I have no
The Fall of the House of Usher?
Yeah.
No, because once I read this, I was like, I read this as a child.
Me too.
And I don't remember. I put it on hold. It was waiting for me at the library. Fair enough, so I can't give you a synopsis.
I'm like, I know that I know the story, but I don't remember anything about it.
It was interesting, challenging ourselves to read horror and like the channels that threw us down.
Yeah. What's interesting is what it seems like what gravitated to you was haunted house as a metaphor for trauma.
Yeah.
What I've been gravitating towards at this moment in time has been vampirism as a way of gaining power for minority groups.
Yeah.
But both have to do with minority groups sort of processing something.
Yeah.
But like the stories I've been gravitating to is, and it is definitely based on like what I'm feeling right now, because I have a lot of anger and rage in me I was going to say something else, which is why it came out weird. Based on what's going on in the world, and so it's helpful for me right now. I'm having a moment where I'm feeling traumatized just by what's happening in the world, and so reading stories about people becoming vampires and like wreaking havoc amongst the people who have fucked them over is like,
shout out to Hungerstone, I assume.
And Buffalo Hunter. It's like you
what was the Octavia Butler book that you read also?
Oh yeah, that one's very different, and that also is like a triggering one, because that one is the vampire in that one is a young child, or they were turned when they were a child, and so it's sort of and honestly, I read that so long ago that I don't actually I have certain scenes that are imprinted in my brain. But what I would say about that one, for me, a lot of people don't seem to like that book. I really liked it. I turned it on to listen to go to sleep, and I stayed up all night listening to it. I could not stop listening. I went from being disgusted by what was going on and being like, this is disgusting, to by the end of it, like being like, oh yeah, this is normal. And the fact that she took me from this is gross to this is normal and then at the end of it, I was like,
what do I think anymore?
Yeah, well, I also just was like, am I disgusting? Because I'm okay with what's happening right now. And I actually would be curious to reread that. Because I did read it or listen to it over an evening, where just because I just
one evening?
Yeah, I could not go to sleep. And either way, I would be curious to reread that and see if actually it's another prey turning into a predator story, because it is a kid who is being picked up by an adult man, and you're like, that guy's disgusting, and by the end of it you're like, no, because she's clearly hundreds of years old, and
she's devouring him.
I don't know if she kills him or not.
I don't know. I haven't read this book because
anyways, it doesn't matter. The 3 books, vampire books, that I personally would recommend would be, at this moment in time, would be Hungerstone 100%, Wildling with, like, I think you should probably investigate trigger warnings. A lot of people don't seem to enjoy it. I thought it was great. And then so far, I haven't finished Buffalo Hunter, but I do feel like I feel like he's working up to something that is going to be very satisfying, in the sense of like, oh yeah, he's about to, but he's going through, actually there's a little bit of trauma going on there, because the way he's doing his vampire thing is the blood that you suck, you turn into that. So like at first he's taking blood from animals, and he starts turning into an animal. And then he's like, oh, okay, I'll take blood from humans, but I'm gonna just kill white hunters who have been coming onto my land. But then he's turning into a white guy. So in order to stay who he is,
what violence does to you,
he needs to attack his own people, and we don't quite know. And it's him telling the story. So it's a priest. He's telling his story to a priest, and then you're reading the account of the priest. So it's like you start with a woman who's doing research. She's reading an account of the priest who is retelling a story that a man has come into his church to tell this story. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I do want to read it. It might be too gory for me, but I do want to read it.
So far, it's not been that gory.
We have different standards of gore.
Genuinely, so far, not so bad.
Do you remember The Unworthy? What we just talked about at the beginning of this episode.
Okay, it's not the same. It's not the same.
That's gore to me.
It's not the same. Nothing like that has happened.
Okay. Anyway,
the end.
this is our adventure into the genre of horror.
Yes. Welcome. Please comment below your favorite horror books if you have any.
Yeah.
Things that you maybe want us to read. We're happy to do that.
With trigger warnings, please.
Yeah. We're happy to do that.
Research, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, you can tell us if you like. But if you have books that you are like, read this if you like that, I want to know.
Yeah.
So
now I'm thinking that we need to soon do an episode around like rage. Whether it's female rage.
Oh yeah, we
or
should just do a rage book.
A Rage Against the
Rage
Machine copyright. Am I allowed to say it?
You're allowed to say
Nobody
it.
Nobody cares.
You can't sing it, but you're allowed to say it.
Anyway, yeah. So go read books. Pay attention to what horror is doing for the author.
Now trying to think of that main song.
Don't.
Killing in the name of. There it is.
Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Happy birthday, Paige. Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you noticed our amazing outfits.
Oh yeah, we didn't even bring it up. I wore my teacher cat cardigan for Halloween,
which is
she
also
wore her ghoul outfit.
I call it my Grim Reaper outfit, which is also one of my favorite. It's like a hoodie dress But I feel like this again just shows we are friends, but we are so different that this is our expression of like we both.
I'm dressed up for Halloween. I'm wearing a cardigan.
Without telling each other. We did not plan this.
Yeah, we both dressed up for Halloween.
Knowing we were going to film this. By the way, it's Friday. We're tired, so we're not refilming this.
Yeah. Oh, no. This is what you're getting. This is it, and accept it and love it. Okay. Thank you.
Goodbye. Signing off.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Intoned.
Yes.
Hallelujah.